Welcome to the Mac Talks. I am your host, Scott Johnson. This is my co-host, Chase Hutchinson. And today we have a great guest on the show, someone who has a great story, has busted his backside to build his business, to get it to where it's gotten to. He's a great community leader, does a lot as his business has grown. He has contributed to his community, which is an awesome story to hear from an entrepreneur. So let's get right into it with him right now. Perry Antotonakis.
Oh, you destroyed that.
Damn
not
it.
even close,
I knew it.
dude.
I've been practicing
Not
it
even close.
all night.
It's so easy. Just break it down, man. Anastasakis.
That's what Chase was trying to get me to do.
It's the Anastasakis.
Yeah.
That's
what
what
It's
Chase
all
was
good.
trying to get me to do. So, anyhow, what is that name? That's Italian or something?
It sounds Greek. It's all Greek to me.
Yeah, right. All right, so welcome, Perry, to the Mac Talks. Let's just kind of jump right in it to your get right into your story here. So I want you to tell us about, I want you to kind of start like pre-Bethel days, before you guys started the pizzeria, your story
Okay.
leading up to the pizzeria, if you could just touch on that a little
Sure.
bit.
First, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be your first guest on such a
Woo!
big moment. But yeah, I'm not a morning person, so just bear with me. I
All
think
right.
I got in around midnight last night out of
Oof.
work. So mornings are
A lot of hours, yep.
Yep, it's a restaurant business, but that's where I grew up, and basically, it's a long story, but I guess the shorter version of it is my mom and pops, just decided let's start a business, let's do what every other Greek immigrant does. I'm a first generation. I was born here. My parents were born in Greece. They both came here and wanted to start a family, make a better life for themselves. So. It was a struggle growing up, and my parents just wanted a new start somewhere. They rolled through Bethel, Connecticut. Looked like a nice town to raise their 3 kids. I was the oldest, and I saw a place for rent. They had no money, literally no money. They scraped together. They found a failing place that was really cheap to buy, and they said, you know what, maybe we can clean this place up a little bit and make a little money. They had really, I wouldn't say low aspirations, but they just wanted to support their family. That's pretty much.
Was there any prior restaurant experience at all from anybody in the family?
So my
or
dad,
just home cooking, home cooking?
No, my mother, when she came to this country, worked for her uncle, and they had a pizzeria in Stamford that basically all her siblings went through and just busted their butts, trying to save up some money, and they all kind of went their separate ways. Most of them did go into the restaurant business. My father, though, was a mechanic, so he had a gas station and no experience whatsoever. He had friends in the industry, and he saw that they were becoming successful. He's like, hey, why don't I give this a shot?
Yep.
So they basically did all the wrong things.
Yeah.
They opened up on a Friday night. They never tested anything. It was a total mess. So from the get-go, our seed capital was literally the change in our piggy bank.
Yeah.
We lived in Watertown at the time, so they were commuting an hour each way, working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And didn't make a dime for about 3 years. So these are the stories when people, nowadays they watch these shows on Food Network and they're like, oh, I make a great chicken marsala at home. My friends tell me I should open a restaurant. These are the stories you don't hear.
Yeah.
So, growing up in this atmosphere, we basically went to school, took the bus, downtown where our shop's located right there on the green in downtown Bethel, and did whatever we could to help our parents. Yeah, we went outside and played with our friends, but myself being the oldest one, I kind of found myself working a little more.
Yep.
So then my other siblings, and as they got older.
And how old were you guys when?
So I was around 8 years old. My brother's 7, my sister's 6. So, we started folding boxes. Then, I was answering the phone, I think, by 9 years old. Literally, they had those, cheap boots on the side next to the phone. So I have my homework out there. I try to get some work done. Phone rings, get up, get down. So, that was kind of how we grew up. And really, really humble beginnings, though. It was a struggle. I think for 3 years, my parents were just, stiffing one guy to pay the other guy.
Yep.
And didn't make a dime. So, and then slowly, business grew. They finally figured things out.
Well, the kids got older, so they got more value out of their
Yeah,
out of their children getting work done. So.
Yeah, the labor budget definitely we definitely broke some labor laws back in the day with child labor. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. It really made us who we are. We really growing up. And, we call it the Willy Wonka years. When we first moved to Bethel, we were living on one side of a duplex. It was a 2-bedroom. My parents' bedroom was literally the size of a closet. And then it was like myself, my brother, my sister, and my grandparents in one room. This was, we were in middle school, so but we didn't like look at it. We didn't look at ourselves any different, I wanted what my friends had. I wanted that lawn and, but, that's what put the fire in my belly at a young age. I was like, you know what, I got to go out there and do something.
Yeah.
So, it's I guess that immigrant mentality, even though we were born here, we just felt that, we had to go out there and get it. So,
and everybody was working at the pizzeria, right?
My brother, my sister.
I think I remember hearing stories about how I think it was your grandma used to walk like every day to the pizzeria from the house or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And every day working and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, she'd be cracking the whip, making boxes.
So that's kind of how you guys got into it.
Right.
And you worked obviously throughout your teenage years.
High school.
Yeah, so like day. Friday nights, Saturday nights at the pizzeria.
Yeah, literally at that time, the middle school was where the municipal center is, which is walking distance. So literally, I would go to the dance late, smelling like pizza. I had to put some perfume cologne on. Then, my dad would be like, make sure as soon as the dance gets over, you leave early. You're the first one here because there's a line of kids. So, that wasn't the best experience, having to be like, hi, can I help you? Meanwhile, you're asking the girl to try to get a dance.
Yeah, right.
10 minutes earlier. But,
So it was at the municipal center. So did you graduate with Meg Ryan, or didn't she go to school?
She's too old for me.
All right, okay, all right. Just making sure. It was the high school back then, I think. So
yeah.
So you get out smelling like pizza. I would imagine that would attract some ladies. No?
It might have been attractive to some, but I'm still waiting for them to come around.
Yeah, exactly right. So so your parents pretty much ran the pizza place. You were heavily involved throughout your high school years and stuff like that. Then just kind of take it from there as far as what happened.
Yeah. So basically I had no intention to go to college. I was just happy I was making money at this time, business picked up, word of mouth spread. And we were slowly building our clientele. This did not happen overnight. And, I just kind of assumed, well, I'm going to help out my parents and, kind of take it from there. So my dad really always stressed the importance of education. He's always said this thing, I want you to work with your head, not your hands, So that kind of stuck out, but I was happy. I was making money, cash for a 16-year-old kid. I had bought myself a brand new Camaro. We didn't have money, but, I busted my tail and saved up. I really, wanted the nice things. So at that time, that was my kind of motivation. So he had an important lesson for me. He's like, all right, well, if you want to do this, you really got to know what it is to be all in. I'm going to go to Greece this summer. I think this was the summer of my junior year. Mm-hmm. And I was a good student, nothing, spectacular, but I did my work. I paid attention in class. I really didn't have time for homework. I just kind of did well. I absorbed information. So that summer, he handed me the keys. He's like, all right, I'm going to Greece. You can run the place, see what it's like. And while all my friends were going to the beach, going to the carnival, this and that, I was working at least 100 hours a week, 7 days a week. Wow. And I was just burnt out. By the end of the summer, I tossed him the keys. And I'm like, this Greek kid's going to college.
Yeah. So I need to be a kid for a couple of years. I need to,
Yeah. And, having that business background, I definitely knew I wanted to study business, took some accounting classes. Went to Pace University. They had a reputation of being a really good accounting school. But the difference is when I went to college, I really took advantage of all the opportunities out there. Sports for me in high school wasn't an option. Even though I was active in sports, I didn't have the time commitment. I felt like I always would feel like I would let my family down.
Yep.
So they they backed me up 100%. They said, look, when you go to college, do what you got to do. We'll be fine. Your brother and sister could step up. So I got involved in all types of activities. You know, I really went all in on my studies, you know, graduated, you know, went to work with one of the top accounting firms, one of the big six at the time, Ernst & Young, and just got a wealth of experience in my 2 years there, just seeing how major multinational corporations ran, how efficient they were. And, you know, all that time I had it in my head that I was going to definitely go back to the restaurant business.
Yep.
And take over my parents' place, bring it to the next level. So, you know, we were steadily building our clientele at that time, but we were outdated. I had to go in there. I told Dad, I'm like, look, if I'm going to come in here, I need to just tear this whole, blow it up and start from the ground up and really, you know, utilize technology and
so
make
at
it
that
efficient.
time, at that time when you were at college, it was still just the one store that you guys had. That
Yeah, it was a
store.
small footprint. It was like less than 1,000 square feet, and
Yep.
we just maxed out. We were totally maxed out. We were renting the space at the time, and when I decided to quit my job and come back to the family business, we looked into expanding it because it just wasn't big enough.
Yep.
So we leased some additional space, and then, you know, we realized how expensive it would be to do things the way we wanted rather than put that money into someone else's building. We did negotiate the purchase of the building, which allowed us to take 2 adjoining stores, convert that into one,
Yep.
and then add back the space that we originally started from.
Yeah. Did you? And I think you didn't you have an apartment upstairs too when you started? Like, did
Yeah,
you
we
stay?
literally,
Yeah.
there were a couple apartments upstairs that were just torn down. I mean, it was a really long process. I mean, basically, when I came into the business, I thought, all right, I'll quit my job. I'll go to a bank. They'll give me some money. I'll fix the place up, and it'll be, and it totally did not work out that
I
way.
thought it was like a 3-year plan. It was more like a 3-year or a 3-month plan. It was more like a 3-year plan.
Yeah, I had no idea about how construction worked, how expensive it was at that time. This was 1997. You know, money was flowing, and something to renovate a pizzeria was like $500,000.
Wow.
And yeah, we saved some money, but nothing like that. At that time, we had a customer at one of the local banks there came in for lunch, and this was before the SNL scandal broke. And
Yep.
banks, I literally walked into a bank and walked out with $100,000
Yeah.
check like an hour later. There was no form filled out, and I was
Wild,
like,
Wild
"Oh,
West.
this is great. Thanks a lot." But then I realized how long it would take to get permits and all that. So I took that money and played a little with my stock market experience I had on Wall Street when I interned.
Nice.
Before that, and yeah, that failed miserably. But anyways, so then when the time came when we were ready to renovate, because at that time we took our money that we had saved for the business and we bought the building, which was the best move we ever did.
Yep, that's
if you're ever in the restaurant business, 10-year leases go by like that. So
And the bigger, like the bigger they see your crowd, and the bigger the more success they're doing, the more they're going to turn their rent up on you, right?
Absolutely.
Like, 'cause
Someone
they know
will
that
come
you need
in.
it.
Yeah. Someone will come in, and it doesn't matter. The loyalty these days, you know, luckily we had this family that, you know, the people that owned the building that gave us the opportunity to purchase it. You know, they were like family, and shout out to the Carousel family. They really allowed us a chance to succeed.
But yeah, in any business too, I mean, owning your building is huge, but especially within inside of the restaurant business, because they can squeeze you. The landlords can, when
absolutely.
they see, you know.
Sometimes
also,
they'll
though,
come in and, you know.
But rightfully so, though, because being a commercial property owner and having, as you know as well now, because, you know, you do own the whole building and you have some units that you rent, you know, it's not an easy thing. Sometimes places come and go. So, you know, you have to plan for that, obviously, when you're a commercial owner as well. So it's tough when a restaurant comes into your space, but then when it's successful, you obviously want to try to make the most money you can as a business owner, you know.
Right.
So.
Well, that's the good thing that we kind of started the way we did. So we see both sides. So now that we have tenants, we understand how it is to be a tenant. Yeah, my dad was late months, you know?
Yep.
And so we always take that into consideration. We, you know, try to work with our tenants, you know.
Yep.
Things get tough, man, you know, and you have to be, you know, business is business, but at the same time, you know, you like to bend and do what's best for everyone. You don't want to be like, nowadays you have these corporations, triple net leases. You know, we do a lot of the stuff we do on a handshake, you know, and it just stays the same. And it's like, you know, we do it really old school in that regards. It just works for us.
So, so you came back you bought the building. You renovated it into a larger space. Where did you go from square footage wise? What you said you had 1,000 square feet.
So it was like 900 and change to the start, and we took 2 adjoining stores that brought us to about 2,500 square feet.
Okay.
Not including some basement space, and then about 10 years into it, we added our original location. So we're up to like 3,500 square feet. We got seating for 150 people, large kitchen. We do a lot of delivery. So it's a nice setup.
I see the famous trucks or delivery vehicles. I see you got the new box tops going, or the top of the cars going. And I mean, I was going to tell you, it's great marketing because they're bright white and you just see them. They're just buzzing around. Whenever you get closer to downtown Bethel, it's like a bee's nest of famous pizza delivery vehicles. It's awesome. So
yeah, they're moving billboards.
Any thoughts on expanding and opening another location?
No.
A big no.
We and just to backtrack a little bit, I don't want to make this sound like this is me. My parents put in the work, foundation. We just took it to the next level, and a major, my right hand man is my brother-in-law, Anthony Caffrey. Going into this, I knew right away I couldn't do this alone. I needed someone I could trust. Someone that I could work with, and I think he just, started dating my sister, and we hit it off. He's, my best friend, first and foremost, and, he, put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. So the two of us together, we run the place now. My parents have been retired for years. They're enjoying life, traveling a lot.
Yeah.
But Anthony, is a big reason where we are today.
We
know each other's role. That's always been our line, like know your role.
Yep.
He does his thing, I do my thing. I don't think we've ever fought.
Yeah.
Like literally in,
that's so rare in the
10
restaurant
years.
industry.
Just maybe some smack talking during the Super Bowl because he's a Pats fan and you're an Eagles
absolutely.
fan, but that's really it, and that's just good natured, busting chops. So that you were able to now be at what 3,500 square feet, you said?
Yeah, it's
wow. It's a lot of space. And how many employees now?
We have over 30 employees.
Wow.
We have a lot of part-timers, but
it started with, your mom and your dad, and then your family as the employees, and now you have built it up to 3,500 square feet, over 30 employees. I mean that's amazing. Now, the next I want you to kind of talk about, because as you've come up, you've contributed to the community in ways that I've never seen a business do, which has just been really, really cool. Everybody knows Famous Pizza in Bethel as being, heavily involved in the community. You see their signs everywhere. So if you could just speak a little bit about that and some of the different things that you do for the community, that'd be great.
Sure. Yeah. So, being a product of Bethel, Connecticut, I consider that my hometown. I've been here since 6th grade. My kids, I live in Bethel. My kids go to the Bethel Public Schools. So early on, we found a real need to give back to our community. Growing up the way we did, we were always told to be appreciative, where you come from, be polite. The whole European hospitality thing comes into play. So it's just about giving back, and we're very blessed to be where we are, and that's all because of the town of Bethel. What we went through, the Bethel Public Schools. So early on, I reached out to the school system and said, hey, what could I do to help out? I pitched an idea where the first grade class of every school would come in. We'd teach them how to make pizza. We would talk to them about community. So it's not like a sales pitch by any means. It's really just meant as a thank you. But we do incorporate what we do and show the kids how we make the pizza. We give them a tour of our kitchen. We come in early. We have the kids dropped off. They make their own pizza with their partner. We teach them how important it is to support the local businesses. So we talk about the downtown area. So it's a great day.
And you do that with every first grade class?
Every first grade class.
How many first grade classes are there? Do you know?
So the kids that started, it's funny because I see them, they've already graduated college. So it's probably been about 15 years now. And the cool thing is we have this long hallway in the back.
Yeah, I love it.
And we call it our Hall of Fame. So we take a picture of every class. So there's kids that'll, be graduated from college who come in with their girlfriend. They'll show them their picture up on the wall.
Funny.
So it really didn't start out as like this big thing, but it's kind of just turned into like a rite of passage for every kid that goes through the Bethel Public School system. The kids look forward to it. They're like, they can't wait. They see, we put every current year class picture up in the front, and then we put all the old pictures in the back. So that's just one of the things we did, and it really, it's just a way of saying thank you. It's not meant as a marketing gimmick, even though we give them like a Famous Pizza apron to take home that the moms love. So, we do get our branding out there, but the intention was not that. It was just, as a simple way of saying thank you. So that's like just one of the few events we do. There's a lot of local organizations that are wonderful, like Scotty Fund, that we donate the pizzas to, so they could raise funds, Relay for Life.
I see you have a particular affinity for supporting local, like Little League teams and sports teams and stuff.
Right, especially the high school.
Yeah, is that somehow connected to like how you wish that you had more time when you were a kid to play sports and stuff? So now you really see the value in it, and you want to really like push that.
That's funny. I never really thought of it that way, but subconsciously probably. Really what it's just meant to is to just be supportive of everyone. So we make an effort to sponsor a team in every single league. Mm-hmm. So someone comes in and asks for a gift card, we support everyone that walks in the door. No one walks out empty-handed, and we're in a really fortunate situation that we could do that. My parents, when they started, they could not do that. It's not that they didn't want to. So I really feel for a lot of these small businesses like retail and whatnot. Like, it's really hard. Like to write a check is just, it kills a business, for a donation. But so what we did early on is we decided that rather than do that, write that check for that print ad, what I would rather do is give you a $50 gift card. So you're still getting that $50, but it's not coming out of my cash flow, which especially in the early years was really tough. So we came up with that idea, and it's worked great because that $50 in turn brings someone into my restaurant, gives them an opportunity to try the food, and maybe I'll get a customer out of that.
Yeah.
So
it's a
that's
win-win
worked.
for everybody.
Yeah, it's great. We don't say no to anyone, but we just explain to them, hey, this is how we got to do it. So, I can't tell you, the day does not go by where we don't get a solicitation for a donation. I mean, it's literally, and the unfortunate thing is you have these huge multinational corporations, that they'll you got to go to HR department. Oh, you got to email this person. Yeah. Oh, you have a requisition that's going to take 3 weeks. Here they know they're going to walk in, they're going to see me there, and in 1 minute later, literally, they're going to walk out with the gift card.
Yep.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember, was it this summer? I think it was actually the last summer that you did the block party, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was a great time. So
that's awesome to do for the.
I think that started. So we started in '82, and I think on our 30-year anniversary, we decided, you know what, we got to do something big, and we're right there. We're located in downtown Bethel on a cute little green right there. So we closed the green down. We brought in these huge inflatable water slides, bounce houses, dunk tanks, face painting, and all that,
and just gave away slices.
And we just cranked out pies.
It was just a never-ending life. I think I was probably in that line maybe 8 times, just filling up.
So it was the first time we did it, and we didn't know what to expect, and we didn't charge a dime. We did have a big jar out, which we donated all the money to the Scotty Fund, just because we thought that would be a good thing to do, because people were asking. They're like, hey, we got to give you something for this. You guys are basically throwing an amusement park for the day and feeding us. So we did that, and then we were going to try to keep that tradition going. We did do it at our 35-year block party, and we took it up a notch. So hopefully the 40-year will be a big blast.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
It's just another way of saying thank you to the town. We cannot express how appreciative we are, of all the support over the years.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. And it's great that you guys are kind of giving back as well, and that you guys are a major part of the community. And it goes much further than just giving things as well. Just being there all the time, showing your consistency, having people see you there every day. I'm sure you have regulars that you always constantly see on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's probably one of the best things about our job. I mean, the restaurant business is no secret. It's a tough industry, long hours and all that. But when you walk around town and this kid recognizes you on the street, it's like, hey, that's Famous Pizza guy.
Right.
Kind of like you're walking around like you're Daryl Strawberry. Like, that's kind of on the same level to these kids. And, you know, I was always really, you know, emphasize the importance of your name. Like there's nothing more sacred as your name, you know. So for me, being, you know, it's my family. Famous Pizza, you know, pretty much on equal basis means my last name, you know. So I got to take care of my customers, you know.
Yep.
And now that I have kids, when I started having kids, I realized, hey, you know, I got to really, you know, take it up a notch. This is who we are. This is how we live, where we live. So we were always stressed, you know, how you carry yourself, how you give back. It's really important. So, yeah, we're always very
That's awesome.
aware of that.
So now, do you have any, I mean, obviously you have an amazing, you know, entrepreneurial story, entrepreneurial spirit. So do you have any kind of suggestions or any pointers that you would give out to anybody that's getting ready to get into the restaurant business?
So for the restaurant business, you know, in
Or any
general,
business.
I guess, you know, the thing that, you know, I listen to these podcasts and all that. I'm always
Yep.
trying to improve myself. You know, I'm not going to be one of these guys that be like, you know, yeah, I'm so great. I took this place, took to the next level. No, we just worked hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like entrepreneurial. That's the buzzword these days. You know, back when I was, you and I were kids, it was
Yeah.
like hustling.
Yeah.
You know, like I grew up on a racetrack. My dad liked horses.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was just, you know, it's kind of in my blood, like just to see something and be like, how can I flip that? How can I,
Yeah.
you know, so, you know, the restaurant business is just another kind of facet of that. Like I always looked at it. I was going somewhere with this, but I'm sorry. It's
That's
morning.
okay. Yeah.
So, you know, I kind of looked at it when I first started the business. So for 15 years, I went into the work with the notion, how can I make another dollar?
Yep.
How can I squeeze another dollar out of this place? Whether it's marketing, whether it's cost cutting, whether it's some efficiency that we can save money. So I went in, you know, with that mindset for 15 years, and it just drains you, you know. So we're happy with where we're at now. So now I could kind of like focus on other things. Like, you know, Chase asked me before, do you guys have any plans to open up additional stores? Like early on, we decided, you know, Tony and I, that, hey, we can spread ourselves thin and try to open up shops just for our ego. But why don't we just focus on taking this one store and making it as good as we can,
Yeah.
you know? So we kind of took a different approach. Something that, you know, I tell people all the time is I go to these industry shows. Las Vegas has a pizza expo every year. I know we talked about maybe you come and join me
I
one
want
year.
to come.
So yeah, it's a really good opportunity to talk with other operators. They have seminars, they have exhibits, product ideas. But when I tell people that we're closed on Sundays, they look at me like I'm insane. Because Sunday is probably like the third or fourth busiest pizza day. You know, Friday obviously is a big day for us, Saturday.
Yeah.
So probably the third busiest besides Saturday. And we closed. We've been closed now. I've been married since 2000. So almost 20 years. We took that approach, and basically it's all because of my priest. So
Yeah.
thanks, Father Peter.
Nice.
He sat us down before we got married. My wife was a teacher, and he's like, so you guys going to get married, have a family? You work day and night, Monday through Sunday. She's during the day. She's like, how's this going to work?
Yeah.
Like, so it really kind of opened our eyes. He told us about some other parishioners that took that approach, and it worked for them. And I'm like, hey, let's try it out.
That's
And
great.
It's one of the best things we ever did.
I always thought it was because, you know, your girls played soccer and that you had to close from that. But,
Or Eagle.
but
Yeah,
no,
no.
or the Eagles, yeah,
Eagles
or the
football,
Yeah, you were like, yes, when he said that. You're like, now I can watch some Eagles football. Then you had three little ones and they started playing soccer across the state all over the place. So
Yeah, no, it started definitely because of, you know, starting a family, and then it just kind of worked.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I was involved with my kids' teams. I coached a lot of soccer teams, and that gave me the opportunity, which I normally wouldn't be able to do if I was sitting behind the oven.
yeah, no, I hear you. So I know I don't want to keep you for too long. Because I know you got to get over to work there and get
Time to make the
get
pizzas.
time to make the pizza. But I just kind of wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about how me and you have a personal relationship. I moved to Bethel probably like 7 or 8 years ago, and I was just ordering from Famous Pizza a lot, ordering a lot of salads because, you know, I was trying to keep my figure a little bit down. Still order some salads.
Yeah.
With an occasional chicken parm in there. But we really kind of connected and got on the same page when I started the Newtown Strong Fund. Perry and Famous Pizza was a huge supporter of that. And then from there, we've just been able to kind of work on other things together. And then we've just kind of grown. We found out that we were both Eagles fans. We became fantasy football partners. And obviously, Mac Media does a lot of stuff for Famous Pizza, video content, and just different things like that, different digital marketing things as well, which kind of brings me to something that I wanted to play here for everybody. So where is this? So what we do is we have a lot of our clients do testimonials for us. And this is a testimonial that Perry had did for us. What he was doing was he was doing a real testimonial. And in the midst of the real testimonial, he decided that he was going to do a little joke thing where...
Oh, I remember this.
Where he was going
The
to...
testimonial inside the testimonial.
Yes, the testimonial inside the testimonial. So hang on one second. Let me just bring that back. So, all right. So we're just going to play this really quick.
Some of my best work, I must say.
This is really...
So the thing that really impresses me about Scott Johnson is his dedication to the gym so that he can keep a body
Of course,
type
I added some B-roll in
that
there
is
for
somewhat respectable. I mean, the guy pounds beers and eats more shit
Shout out to Pippas.
than any fat bastard in the world. True And story. then he goes the next day to the gym and hops on a treadmill while probably texting and doing all sorts of other stuff, following Eagles football stuff. So, it's true dedication. It really impresses me, and it's someone I want to be around the rest of my life. It's all about the entrepreneurial spirit right there.
It is, man. I love it. I love it. So obviously we've went to a lot of Eagles games together. We've had a lot of fun, and we've had a lot of long drives where we've had, awesome talks about just business and entrepreneurship and just, more or less just life as well. So one of the things that I really remember, which is awesome, was Perry and I went and saw the NFC Championship. Perry ended up scoring us a sweet deal that somebody almost really screwed up. I'll let you talk about that for a minute, Perry.
So, yeah, I have this regular of mine that hooked us up with these awesome seats for the NFC Championship game. And Scott, in his emphatic excitedness, took a picture. These days, everything's digital and all that. And I guess he took a picture of the seats and proceeded to post that on a Philadelphia radio Facebook thread, thinking that it was just going to one of his friends, in which case someone could just take that picture and scan in the tickets. So instead of us enjoying a nice relaxed day at the stadium like we should have done, Scott and I had to line up at like 1 o'clock for a 4 o'clock game and not enjoy our tailgate so we could be the first people to scan their tickets so no one else could use it.
I only had it up there for literally like 25 seconds. I posted underneath this thing, and this guy starts direct messaging me. Didn't even know him. He's like, dude, you should take those down. They're going to take a picture they're going to print that, and they're going to be able to use it at the gate. So I took it down immediately. And I called Perry because I had to let him know, at least to give him a heads up. Mm-hmm. So I call him and I tell him, and he kind of played it off like, oh, well, don't worry about it. We'll just get down there early. But I could tell, because I know how Perry is, he's really on point with everything, that he was stressing about it. So I tried to take some of that stress off a little bit. So we got a Philly taco before we went into the game, which is a large slice of pizza with a cheesesteak in the middle of it. We posted up outside on South Street, and maybe we'll show that video as well at another time, which is an awesome hype video that we did. I felt like although I did provide him that stress, I felt like I took a lot away with some of my content that I was providing on the streets of Philly.
Yeah, the megaphone came
as well.
in,
I think he wasn't when I had the megaphone out in front of the Minnesota Vikings hotel, and of course, no profanities were being used. But I feel that I took a little bit of that stress off of it.
Yes,
and then as soon as we got in through the gate, which he was like the first person there, soon as we got in, he was like, looks right at me and goes, I can't begin to tell you how annoyed and how stressed out I was. I got to text my wife right now to tell her that I'm in.
That was nice of you to wait until after.
Yeah. So
you know what? It was a great day.
It was.
Win. It was epic.
We actually have some relics from the day on display here.
Yeah, so
the
we have the
megaphone and the
megaphone on
hat.
display. We've got the construction helmet. So obviously the season's off to a little bit of a slow start, but that's all right. All we need to do is win our division.
Got the ring.
We'll get there, and that's all that matters. So, all right, so that's going to pretty much wrap up this episode that we had with Perry Antasanakis.
Oh, man.
Ouch.
Kill me.
So, Perry, we appreciate you coming by.
Thanks,
We're probably
guys.
going to have
Appreciate it.
you on often because
Okay.
you know you're good. You got the good content rolling there. So we'd like to hear your
You say
stories.
so.
We can discuss more about our Eagles trip. That could be a whole episode.
Yeah,
in
in
its
itself.
own. In its own. So, all right, everybody. Oh, actually, wait. Hold on one second. I forgot about our segment that we're gonna do, which is one question from Kev the intern. Kev, come over. Step over to the mic over here. Let's go. Fire away, buddy. Right in there.
Right here.
Right in there. Let's
Sorry
go.
about that. Thank
One
you.
question.
All right, one question. What figuratively, what is the one ingredient that goes into the perfect pizza?
So one ingredient, I'm going to take that just in a little different. When you say ingredient, basically pizza, you think dough, sauce, and cheese. So, my thing is it all starts with the dough. And that's what, product is, the most important thing. So, one thing that I think sets us apart from our competition is our dough is different. That's the only way to put it. Like our crust, it's just something you can't find. Like kids go away to college, they come back, they're like, I need Famous Pizza. Like they cannot find that. A lot of my competition, you can find that pizza in basically any town in America. Your traditional slice. So we do things a little different. The way we make our dough is different. The way we cook our dough is different. We cook in a pan. So it is really unique, and I think that's a big factor to our success. So to answer your question, it definitely is the dough for me. When I see a crust that's not eaten, that like just kills me. Wow. That is just
So
that's the best
basically, to sum it up, you need good dough to make the dough, more or less, right? You need the dough to make the dough. How about that? How about we close it?
Wise
How about
man once said that.
How about we close it with that? So, Perry, thank you so much. Kev the intern, thanks for the one question from Kev the intern. Chaserford, get back to your desk. Start grinding away on some outreach.
You got it.
And we'll be seeing you guys soon. Perry,
All right, go Birds.
thanks again, buddy.
And nothing's gonna ever keep you down.